So I thought I would save my introduction to now because I think K-12 is dear to my heart. So why Dr. BuShell? Who is she and how does she get to be part of this, right? I think it's a long journey. My journey started with having my first son at 16, having my second son at 19, and no one thought I'd be anything but on welfare. And I went to junior college, Foothill, De Anza, to start out because I was going to be a paralegal. That lasted 6 months. Then I was going to be a fashion designer, and that lasted 6 months. But junior college or community college gave me a chance to figure out who I wanted to be. And then both of my sons flunked first grade. The first one flunked because he couldn't spell. The word he couldn't spell was S-U-U-E-L. What was he trying to spell? What? School. Because he was spelling it phonetically. There ain't no ch in school. Okay? The second one came along, and I was called to the principal's office because they were going to suspend him for what he put on his spelling test. And he wrote C-A-B-I-T-C-H. What was he spelling? Amateur. Yes. But they swore to God that I was teaching them how to cuss. Right? So though that made me go get my teaching credential, I said no more. As a parent, I'm going to quit my job and work on my kids. I have 2 African-American male sons, and if I don't do something with what's happening, they won't make it. So the principal of the school hired me to at a charter school in East Palo Alto and gave me a grant to go to college and got a degree out of Notre Dame in Belmont. When the school got started, it was adopted by Microsoft. So I learned how to teach with technology my entire life. I don't know how to teach without technology. And then I realized that I was teaching that kindergarten class I had in 1988 as grown folks now. I still have the same people in my class, the class clown, the mama who's going to come seek me, the same folks, right? So if we could get K-12 together, look what you could become. Sorry. When I graduated, I actually then got accepted to Stanford University. I have a master's in learning design and technology. And when I went there, they said I had to write APA, and I thought it was a fraternity or something. I had no idea what those meant. Then I got accepted to Columbia University on a fellowship, and I was able to move to New York for 20 years, and I became the tenured faculty at Columbia University. And I got there and realized that wasn't the population I'm going to teach. So then I became a dean at Malcolm X College in Chicago. And I left because it was shameful. So I'm here at Riverside. I've told you the quick, funny story. Right? But I here because K-12 matters. We have to put energy in K-12. And we also have to put energy into community colleges so that our kids goals. I'm working with faith-based leaders, and there's a lot of people of color that feel like community college is a waste of time. I'm going to put my kid in a 4-year college. Community college is a waste of time. And we've got to get out of that because we can't financially do 4 years. We can go to community college for $46 a bank. So what I'm here to do in partner with the city is showing you who we are. So at 12 o'clock, we're going to take you on a little tour through our culinary school. And you're going to be very impressed. And Chef Natalie is going to give you some cornbread. She can make it right. Right? And so what my role is to show you that we are a solution for the first 2 years for your cousins, your nieces, your sister, your kids. And then you can start paying for junior and senior, right? So it's a financial investment for you to come be with us.
If we have to wait till 12 for corporate.
Well, by the way, Greg, you like that none. I told him Greg comes and says, "Oh, you look at you."
All right, I'll take.
Hey, Chiki, you got more issues.
Oh, you're all right.
Yeah, but see, absolutely. But I'm so glad to see the spirit in the room, and I'm hoping I'm generating that kind of spirit, and I'm hoping that you see that the next time we have a summit or to talk, that the quality of the meetings will be very well done between Georgia and I. Okay, introductions to K-12. We're going to start with Gateway. We're going to move over to RUSD, and you guys are going to introduce yourselves, okay?
All right. Thank you, Dr. BuShell. Thanks everyone for being here during this great discussion today. So I'm Miguel Pacheco. I'm the executive director with Gateway College and Career Academy. We're an alternative high school based at RCBC. We're celebrating our 20th year in operation this year. So, way banco.
I'm Misty Watts. I'm an instructional technology coordinator at Gateway. I'm also a math instructor, co-advisor for student council. I have more more titles, but today I am the math instructor.
And then about Bautista principal at Gateway College and Career Academy, former counselor at Gateway as well. Andrea Zacharias, assistant principal at Gateway, also formerly a counselor. Okay.
I forgot that. Also formerly a council. So, I think great framing from both Dr. Isak and Dr. BuShell this morning on kind of why Gateway exists as a program. I was started here 20 years ago. Really looking at alternative education and the needs of those students most badly. So, the folks from RCC and RCCP at that time, 20 years ago, really looking at looking for better ways to serve those students and their needs. At that time, it probably still to this time in many places, once a student got off track for whatever reason in the traditional school setting, there wasn't a whole lot of choice, quality traits on how they could get back on track, how they could still go towards graduation, and then beyond graduation, right? So it's a lot of packet work, a lot of different work. Students didn't fit in. It didn't get a whole lot. So it's really looking at how can we provide more, something, these students don't need less. They need more. They need to really lean in to these students and then provide for them. So that goes on. We've had Gateway in place now. It's a early college, high school design. Only high performing students take that route. We designed a route for it, but then alternative acts to be able to take part in that and to benefit from all the benefits of the community college, of starting to take community college classes as a high school student. And we've been learning for 20 years and refining and trying to figure out better ways for us to deliver what we need to them. But it brings us to this point to where, as everything has changed, it continually changed that every focus also goes to technology and how can we continue to reach them, continue to meet their needs in this new landscape. So that's kind of where our focus has been, especially since that daily app in 2020 that really impacted the way that we were serving our students. It really opened our eyes to how we could do more to reach them. It opened our eyes to the additional barriers there for them as we move into this new phase. So that's what we'll be focusing on as we hear from our panelists here. So just really drive that point home as far as this discussion today. How does alternative education fit into this? As far with CAPA, it's warning equity, access, equity to access, equity to support, equity to success in education and in higher education in particular. This is a key part of it, key for our region. Both for community college and the alternative ed space serve a high portion of lower income students and families, more students of color, and we need to work together to allow them to have an equitable pathway to success, to life supporting wages, and having that impact in the region. So with that said, for our panelists, what specific challenges do alternative high schools face in addressing the needs of their students, and how can digital tools provide solutions? Whoever wants.
I think that the challenges that students in alternative high schools face, within the traditional educational systems, some of the challenges that our students have was that traditional school systems are really built for the student that has all the things, right? They have the transportation, they can go Monday to Friday, set schedule, and it really doesn't focuses on the challenges that students face, which is transportation, which is I needed to care for my family at home. My parent got sick. I need just that flexibility. And so what we learned with the pandemic, we all went on Zoom Lab, right? And some of us loved it, and some of us, it was a challenge. But we really saw an outlet there that was missing. We serve students 16 all the way to 21 years old. And even younger now, at 14. Now 14. Yeah, well, yeah. So with that population, again, for a student that's 16 or 17, an employer is more easily ready to navigate their schedules based on school. But for our 18, 19, 20-year-olds, like, nope, this is your schedule and they're going to show up, right? So the traditional study doesn't really align with the needs that our alternative students are having. And as Miguel said, then what happens to them? What choices are available and how are we serving them? And so through the pandemic, they learned that the online platform was really an outlet to have access for our students. That met them where they needed to be met. So we have what we call simultaneous learning, where we have a live instruction happening here in person in our classrooms with students that want to cut in person, and then those students that want to stay online jump on Zoom, and they're still listening to that live instruction. They don't miss a beat in their education. They have classes around the classes that they need at specific times, so it's not like a 9 to 3 o'clock. They have various classes based on what they need for their graduation requirements. And so also for students that can't attend, right? Like, I just mentioned the 19-year-olds, they have the schedule where it's like maybe I work Monday and Wednesday, but then, I still want to have access. I still want to know what's happening. So we're able to record the Zoom lectures, and students have still, again, access to that part, so they're not missing any part of their education. We also have a hybrid model where students can come in person on the days that they can, and then they could come online on the days that they need to. Again, a shift in that schedule and the rigidness of what it looks like in a traditional study. And so students have multiple methods of attendance. They can come in person, they could come online, they could do asynchronous. So we have an evening scheduled class also for students that work in the morning and they need, again, access at a track that best makes sense. So really with the online technology, you learned that really Zoom we could use to benefit our students. We have Promethean boards. They're really like TV settings on wheels. Where we broadcast our students on Zoom. So again, everyone is in community, and which is really, really important. So those are some of the ways that we've used technology to help support our students and be equitable to their needs.
And part of that learning too, before that 2020 time frame, we'd been an in-person only schools. We really saw the struggle of transportation, and attendance was a big struggle. So a lot of these students went from that was a big part of why they got behind or off track in the first place. And a lot of them missed a lot of school, and all kinds of reasons for that. The transportation and being consistent with attending was a big part of it. So breaking through that in 2020 and 21. And seeing, okay, we can engage. We can really provide a lot more access. We see more consistent participation from the students. Otherwise, they can't come at it and then miss everything. So really has opened that up. I think the part that we're figuring out now is that building community and engagement. So that's tough. But with a hybrid or a virtual only student, how do we really make those close connections with them? How do they make connections with their peers to really, build that community? So that's an area where we're still working to figure that out, how to do that really, really well. All right, next question. Can you provide examples of digital tools or platforms that the game changers for engaging students in that brand new sentence, but I set that up.
I'll take that one. All right, so one of the game changers I definitely was Zoom, because we had 1 week when COVID hit to turn around and get back online. And we were like, what? So we had to learn how to do Zoom. And then I am so thankful, so thankful that because we're partnership with RCCD, we're able to have access to Canvas. And I'm also thankful for Dr. BuShell's team, because we've had struggles with Canvas several years. And she got on the phone or something come and they started answering our needs. So thank you so much, Dr. BuShell, and your team on that. Very appreciative. It was a big struggle. So I'm going to assume that Albert, do you use Canvas or what is your LMS? Do you use Google Classroom?
So we do have Google Classroom, our LMS, but yes, Google Classroom.
Google Classroom?
Yeah. I'd love to jump in on the access piece too. So for me, I'm an immigrant. I came into high school not speaking English. I came to the U.S. at 14 years old. And access means different things to different people. For me, turning on closed caption, which is designed for hearing impaired, to be able to listen, is how I learn English. I was doing my homework with a paper dictionary. I wish I had access to the technology that we have right now. But I graduated from high school with a 2.5 GPA because it took me 3 years to comprehend and speak and understand the language. So thinking creatively of what it means, having, like Zoom or even distance learning and enabling the transcription could help students that are struggling and learning and adopting to the language as well. But just want to share that because we're talking about creative ways of engaging students there. And I've been through that journey myself.
And that's something we're working on right now, is try to get translations live with our Zooms. I know that ChatGPT is almost there, but they're not there perfect yet. So we're on the game board trying to figure out the translation. We do have some hearing impaired students. So Zoom does allow us to turn around in the captions, or that student online can turn on the captions and record those captions. So if they don't hear us correctly, or can go back, they can read the captions above. Wow, I got for like a total. Oh, what were we talking again? Yeah. Oh, different. So yes, definitely that, and Canvas. I'm sorry, Google Classroom users. Canvas is compared like on steroids. Sorry if I use that term or not, but it's amazing what Canvas can do, because you can do a independent instruction and lesson and be able to navigate in all the resources compared to Google Classroom. So that is an equity problem, I think, between the different kind of districts. I know that there's a difference between the Google Classrooms and the Microsoft. They even have Microsoft Class and the Canvas, and what districts are using for their platforms of their operating systems. Wow, there we go. I'll have to track again. Select me. Okay, what other digital tool? Oh, it's yeah. So like Pear Deck, I know I don't use Pear Deck. The lot of instructors use Pear Deck, so they can see the view of the different multiple screens from the students when they're doing activity, and they could check on comprehension by putting questions in. How do they answer? Oh, what did they do wrong when they did that question? So it's private to the teacher, but it's in real time. Have you guys ever typed math before? Typed math. Because when you go to Google Form, you could turn around and type words. But have you tried to type like mathematical equations? It is the most difficult comprehension thing you can do. If you don't experience the mathematical world, they turn around and say, hey, we got this app in Google. It's impossible. So then we started experimenting, my team this year, on how we can get our students get math down on paper. And we're starting experimenting with Cami and downloading PDFs, getting PDFs and translating them to Microsoft Word. And then we can try and edit those PDFs. So we're experimenting on that end too, but we're looking into more technology. So if you guys have any insight about how to type math, please let me know.
And let me interject something. And I think because we're a small group, I don't want to live my life with my APA issue, where there was language I didn't understand. Do you know what Canvas is? Everyone knows what Canvas is. Anthony?
Yes.
Everyone. Okay, so Campus is a product that we use to put our online courses on compared to Google Classroom, which is free. How much does Canvas cost RCCD in order to teach 30,000 students? In theory. Well, it's free, but somebody's paying, the state. But how much does RCCD would pay if the state didn't cover it? $432,000. So you see the struggle. You see why Google Classroom is an option that people use, because how do I pay for this high-end stuff, right? And then I have enough money that I have a plugin that does her problem. I can do mathematical equations. She can't. You see the equity in all that, right? So you got Google Classroom where most your K-12 are. Teachers can't use it for math. I've got a very expensive product. I can add different elements into that when they get here to me. But where's the learning curve for the student? So they've been at Google Classroom for 12 years, and then I expect them in September to migrate. So K-12 and community colleges need to talk more so that our students don't struggle in that transition. Do you see that? Okay, sorry about that.
Dr. BuShell, I'm going to play off you because this is my soapbox. Because Google Classroom and Google is free. Microsoft and those other applications are not great. So if we want our students to be career and college ready, we need to give them the tools to be career and college ready. If we stay in the Google world and Google Classroom, our students are only prepared for K through 12 life. How are they going to work well in businesses and organizations or going to different colleges? Because I've been talking to multiple colleges around Southern California. I was speaking to Cal Poly, and they mentioned it's not even going through the different platforms. We can teach that in a week. It's going through different technology. She goes, my students are struggling on how to use a mouse. They go, they don't understand when I say right click. They don't know what a right click does. They're used to working off their phones. They're off their tablets. And she goes, Google has spreadsheets. It's called Sheets. She goes, but they don't know how to do Excel. They go, when we start doing our stat stuff, Sheets cannot produce what Excel does. Our PowerPoints, Google PowerPoints, yeah, they get our day through just fine. But the PowerPoint from Microsoft, such powerful instrument. You can do so much more with it. So we're actually limiting our students getting stuck with Google because it's free. San Bernardino District is a Microsoft school district. All around us, it is Google. So who's going to have the better hand going into the colleges and universities and going to our businesses? It will be San Bernardino, which good for San Bernardino. They need that. They need to push on it. I did a research on a website. If anybody can correct me on how to pronounce it, Stat eStuff, and they just do a whole bunch of document that rent stats. And I'm like, what is the outside experience between Microsoft and Google? And I funny enough, I Googled it. So I brought this up, and they said that in the worldwide, Google is the operating system that every country chooses. It's a high percent. It's like a 50-some percent. Microsoft is just slightly below that. But in U.S., when I Google businesses, organizations, schools, higher learning education, it is Microsoft. So we're not preparing the students staying at K-12 Google. Or educators. Or educators.
To be able to have the tools to guide the data to utilize that.
I remember, fun brought that up. I remember the day that RUSD brought us in. We got the TOSA come in and look what we learned. This is amazing because we can transfer in between a Word doc and this doc. So if they work on an Apple, and it was Google and how to use Google Drive. And from there, educators like Google Drive. But they forgot how to use the Microsoft, how to use all those programs, how to use Microsoft Access. We was like, why don't we use Access? What is that? Like, what? So I think the educators get comfortable. The educators are being trained in their education when they get their credentials in Google Classroom. They're not out there exploring. We need to keep update. We need to integrate this stuff into our curriculum. Like I'd love to do Excel into my math programs. I'm going to get there. I'm rewriting a lot of stuff. In a language arts cross curriculum. So when our students leave our K through 12 setting, why aren't they able to get, if we are stuck in the Google world, a Google World Workplace certificate? When we leave K through 12, why aren't our students able or capable to get a Microsoft Suite certificate to prepare them for the outside world in a career and for higher education? And we definitely need those partnerships. I'm sorry, I'm really emotional about this.
Thank you. Good points. Appreciate that. We appreciate all that. I think that transition was a really important piece of how do we make sure that there's no disruption when someone moves in from K through 12 into college, because we know there's a pause and a gap. So that was an excellent point. Thank you for bringing that up.